a pivotal meeting is happening at the White House today. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump are negotiating details for a plan to end the war in Gaza.
The future of Gaza and the fate of the remaining hostages are at stake. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
Their meeting will focus on the 21-point plan President Trump presented to Arab and Muslim leaders at the UN last week. Netanyahu told Fox News the negotiations are still a work in progress.
Well, we're working on it, Jackie. It's not been finalized yet, but we're working with President Trump's team, actually as we speak, and I hope we can make it a go because we want to free our hostages. We want to get rid of Hamas rule and have them disarmed, Gaza demilitarized, and a new future set up for Gazans and Israelis alike and for the whole region.
On Truth Social, President Trump struck an optimistic tone. We have a real chance for greatness in the Middle East. All are on board for something special. First time ever. We will get it done. Details of the 21-point plan include Gaza to become a de-radicalized, terror-free zone. If both sides agree, the war ends immediately, and the IDF withdraws gradually. Within 48 hours of Israel's acceptance, all hostages, alive or deceased, returned. Gaza run by a temporary government until the Palestinian Authority reform is complete. It's not clear if Hamas has seen the proposal, but parts of it could be a tough sell in Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu has repeatedly rejected any role for the Palestinian Authority in post-war Gaza or the creation of a Palestinian state.
It's probably one of the most consequential meetings in the history of Israel since the 1948. I'll be that adamant. The conversation right now and the concern in Israel, and for all those who are Zionists, Jews and non-Jews from around the world, is President Trump's statement last week, where he came out very adamantly and said he will not let Netanyahu declare sovereignty in Judea and Samaria.
Oren Seliger of the Yesha Council, which represents more than 500,000 Israelis, says a number of mayors who support declaring sovereignty flew to the U.S. to meet with Netanyahu.
Is to tell him in Hebrew, Chazak ve'ematz, be strong, know that the country is behind you. He already knows that in the declaration at the Knesset, there was a declaration of sovereignty where 71 members of Knesset voted for sovereignty.
The meeting at the White House comes as the IDF is pushing deeper into Gaza City, the last main stronghold of Hamas. The IDF chief of staff says the army is doing everything possible to quickly return the hostages and defeat Hamas. In the past few weeks, they've taken control of key neighborhoods in Gaza City. But now all eyes are on today's White House meeting, a pivotal moment that could determine how and when the nearly 2-year war between Israel and Hamas finally ends. Netanyahu says he knows the war could end today.
Every nation now in the world has to say one thing to Hamas: release the hostages, all of them, and lay down your arms. And if you do that, the war can come to an end immediately.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
We all know Hamas isn't going to do that. They've actually vowed that they will never lay down their arms, and they have vowed that they'll repeat October 7 again and again and again. I think this idea that there can be a peace deal with that kind of ideology is you're tilting at windmills. It's just not going to happen. Another thing to keep in mind, and I think it was largely missed by the media, is last week Abbas, the head of the Palestinian Authority, and he's canceled all elections, so he's saying, I'm going to be in this position for all my life. He said that for peace to really happen, there has to be justice. Now, that's a really nice word in English, but within the Palestinian ideology, there is no justice as long as Israel's still on the map. That has been their call, and it's part of the charter of Hamas, that for justice, you have to free Palestine from the river to the sea, which means there's no Israel. So it sounds like he's being conciliatory. It sounds like he's advocating for peace. But the reality is no, he's advocating for his deeply held ideology, which means we are going to pay terrorists based on how many Jews they kill. We're not going to stop until Israel is wiped off the map. How do you ever have peace with that? If that is your thought, if that is your commitment, if that's what you're going to train your children and your grandchildren in, how can Israel ever have peace? I think it's a complete illusion. The important thing right now is to focus. Who started this? It was Hamas. They completely controlled Gaza. The IDF wasn't there. Israel wasn't involved. They had complete freedom to do whatever they wanted in that territory. What did they choose to do? Build rockets, build tunnels, launch a horrific attack against the southern part of Israel. That is who started this, and that is where it's going to end when Hamas is completely dismantled.